Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Daddies of SA. Today, we've got someone, We've been talking a lot of nonsense behind the scenes. But this gentleman, a very interesting guy. Some people call him the Bo Brady of the golf course. You'll get to see him, but interesting chap, very, very, very nice gentleman. And I really want to find out more about him. We hang out with people, but we don't really get a chance to actually understand who they are, where they're from, and the journey that they are traveling, Without any further ado, I would like to welcome the one and only Sandile Tati. The horns are on, boy. The horns are on. Maybe I don't have speakers, but the horns are on. Are you good? Donna, thank you. Thank you for gracing me with your presence.
Thank you for having me.
As you can see, Tati asked for a different vulamlomo. So we just got him some nice vulamlomo for the day.
Nice grape juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got a tradition here on the show. We must obviously have our vulamlomo. So with Ndwana, relax, vulamlomo, and just speak freely. Yeah. So
all right.
that's our sip for the day. And how are you, brother? Look at your mic. Look where your mic is.
Gift you with a nice one. Oh, so all this time, no one's been listening to me.
No, nobody heard you. Do you want to reintroduce yourself?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's good to be here. Excited.
Maybe do it here. I don't like mics in the face, man.
All right.
Yeah,
good. And just to clarify, this is grape juice, like I said.
Yeah.
In case anybody was curious, Thank you. I'm gonna enjoy.
I think somebody will be curious in the comments. Ask. You shall hear the truth. Who knows? Tell me, are you Zulu or Xhosa, boy?
Xhosa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ngusandile Tati. Wafaku, kwanyawuza, ngqushe, thahlanga ndayeni. Izinongidribula sometimes.
Okay.
And basically I'm a trans guy originally from my bloodline. I'm Tata.
Is it?
Yeah. So that's where my dad's from. Unfortunately, I was born and raised here, so
you were born and raised there?
Yeah, born and raised in Joburg. So can't necessarily speak the tongue as I should. But I am through and through proud of it. Carry it everywhere I go.
You actually, hence I was asking them. You sounded Zulu now when you were talking to me. Hence I was like, no man, I think Tati is Xhosa.
Yeah.
But it sounded very Zulu. Maybe is it an influence of Joburg?
Yeah. No? So on school holidays, when my parents used to want to get rid of us, they'd send us a Chablan, Soweto. And that's where we'd spend, a month or so, a few weeks, whatever, during the year.
Yeah.
And that's where, Lapha Zulu, and that's where we ended up catching it. And then, at some point, people even thought, no, these guys are Zulu. And no, man, we're not Zulu. And that's why everywhere I go, I like it when people call me Tati instead of Sandile, because I like to put my surname in front to know that that's who I represent.
The clan.
The clan. The surname, the ancestors that come with me,
Does your dad, is your dad also called Tati by his peers?
No, Bambizo sees. It's my thing.
Oh, it's your thing. Okay, interesting. And how's the relationship with your dad been usakul as in Don?
My dad just played. I think a lot of black kids have that experience. He just played basically a provider for most of it in my head. Yeah.
Why in your head?
Because, as a kid, your reality and the reality that actually was sometimes is not the same. What you think your parents were doing for you, sometimes when you listen to your parents tell you about all the things they did for you, you're like, no, man, I don't remember all of that. It's like, no, I used to come to all your games. Nah.
And you would remember.
Yeah.
I would remember.
From my perspective, yes, So, from my experience, he wasn't necessarily there. He wasn't really a present dad, but he was a provider. He almost did everything by the book. He wasn't one of those dads that stayed out all night. Homboni. You knew after work he'd come, but when he comes, you see him for like 10 minutes or so.
Goes to his
he does what he
kumbi.
wants, and then malala, you know.
Yeah.
And then every now and then maybe he'll come out when I was really young, tickle us a little bit, and then Maramboni man. When your mom is like calls your dad, keep it pande, deals with you guys. But he was always like a solid guy. I can't fault him for anything, you know. I feel like they both did their part. He did the finances. She also worked. He made sure he educated my mom as well.
Nice.
And she was also independent, and they both worked, and they both just juggled, you know, to figure things out. But the person who was prominent in my mind was always my mother. She was always the nurturer, always there, taking us to
all of
games,
us, eh?
all of that. You know, for most of us.
How many siblings do you have?
2. It's me and my brother, older brother, younger brother, and then I've got a half sister, which I guess in our culture it's just my sister.
Siswako.
Siswa, yeah. And
From
she's the oldest from my dad's side.
Yeah.
She's the oldest.
Oh, firstborn.
Firstborn yakithi basically. Unsiki, ubuntu mina nofezile.
You know what? I wanna jump around. So guys, if I've been playing golf for whatever few years, but I've never met guys with such swag on a golf course. If you wanna see charm, hence we call him the Bo Brady. Tell me, where did you pick up golf? Because my natural assumption would be like, the way you're so good, I would have thought Itamalako played golf.
Yeah.
Probably took you with him to the course.
Yeah.
And eventually you became this player. But only to find out you're actually a soccer player.
Yeah.
You know?
Professional soccer
player.
player.
So take me through that. Like, was there a relationship with your dad where it pushed you into sports?
Yeah. So, all right. So I was signed professionally at 16 years old, 15, 16. I was signed. Jomo scouted me.
Yeah.
Playing at school. I was always a sports guy, you know. So he saw me. I was actually on the basketball court. Funny enough, it wasn't even an official game. I was on the basketball court, doing the things that Ronaldinho and them do. And then he sees me. He watches me for like an hour.
Literally?
Yeah.
How do you see he's seeing you?
I could see his car. It was parked there. It was like off maybe... Like,
he was still branded
like
Jomo Cosmos kind of thing.
No, I just know his car.
Oh.
Yeah, because his daughter goes to that school.
Oh, your school?
Yeah, she went to that school.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I could see him. He was parked there, but I didn't know he was looking at me. I thought he was just doing his own thing. You know, maybe he was from the newspaper waiting for his daughter. I don't know. So I was just juggling. You know, I could do all types of things with the ball. Balance it on my head, back, shoulders. I could juggle for days. Yeah. So eventually he calls me, asks me, he says, no, come through. Come trial, Cosmos. I get in, didn't take me long. He also didn't take long. I think he watched me for about a few months, and then he gave me a contract.
To play in his first team?
No, to stay at Cosmos as a professional junior. And then only when I turned, I think 17, I went to the first team.
Oh, well, it wasn't long, eh?
Yeah, it wasn't long. Yeah, that progression for me was pretty fast.
No, clearly you had the talent, though.
Yeah, bengamnandi kakhulu.
I'll hit the horn for him.
Please do, babu. Look, I've definitely seen more talented players.
Of course, we're different.
Yeah, and that's by gift, like gift of natural gift. But in terms of what can be done on the field, in terms of being effective and efficient, scoring goals, creating opportunities, eliminating players, creating problems, I was definitely, in my opinion, amongst the best I've ever seen. I've seen more skillful people like doing nice things.
Yeah, but the effect.
Yes, effective
was a bit lacking.
Yeah, like I believe I could have played in Europe. That's how good I was.
Hey man, I'll buy that story. I've seen you do some stuff as well.
Yeah, you know, I had a few opportunities to go overseas. My dad helped me facilitate that as well.
Yeah, take us through that, man. How that relationship now, Jomo Kulma now, but where's your dad in this thing?
So from onset, Tamalam is like, hey boy, mini boiler, angzwana, yabo. he doesn't believe in it because it's risky. I don't know what trauma he has when it comes to football, but
specifically football.
Yeah, I think maybe sports in general, but we would obviously talk about football. And obviously, being black, the predominant sport in black society is
football.
And now I think seeing some of his peers pursue football and it didn't work out, and he looks at them today and they're living in poverty and stuff like that. I think that stuff just scared him, And I think for him it was like, you don't come from a background where you need to take that route. Like, I've worked hard so that you can take a safer route. And I was like, no, but I mean, I'm good at this thing. Why would I not play? It's like, no, it's fine. Play it, but make sure that it's not your priority.
Yeah.
And it showed that he didn't want it to be my priority because he never really supported me in it. He never took me to football games. He would come occasionally, watch a few games and stuff like that, but he never got involved in my negotiations for my contract. He was privy of those things. Yeah, he was privy of those things. In order for them to sign you at that age, your parents have to be aware.
Yeah, consent,
like
correct. Yeah.
So he gives consent, but he's not really trying to say, no, I want this for my son. Or he wasn't really concerned about the career itself. He was just saying, do what you want, but make sure you get the grades, So I had to balance that in my life. I had to balance that. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. You're playing professionally, eskoleni, professional, training can be called at any time. Yes.
Yeah.
Professional can be called, training is at any time. Can be at 3, can be at 9 a.m. Any time is training. So, that time of a class, now I have to make arrangements with the teachers, with the principal. How do I go to this school, to this training session, blah, blah, blah. No, you can catch up on this class, blah, blah, blah.
So they made some special arrangements for you?
Yeah, I had special arrangements. And then my dad organized for one of his friends to be my driver. And he would come pick me up, take me. And then I think there was a point where my uncle was also taking me. So most of the time, he did try his best to try and help me out.
Partly he was wanting you to be okay, but he wasn't like 100% in support.
Yeah, he wanted to be there as a dad. But he didn't support
the football.
Yes, but it also as a father, you want to support what your kid decides they want to do. But there's only so much you can put behind it if you're not there yourself. Yeah,
I feel you.
So yeah, I don't take anything away from him. I got an opportunity to go trial in England. He went there. We flew there. He looked at some schools. We actually went there to see if it was actually feasible for me to come this side, to go that side actually to play. Yeah. And I think when we were there, the culture, the feel just didn't resonate with him or me.
Where specifically?
I wish I remember the name of that place. Yeah, I was. Well, I should be able to remember because I stayed with a friend of mine who was also a professional footballer. He stayed that side. He was playing that side. And then, we came back. I went to Germany with Cosmos. Got a few offers there. Drummer said, no, you can't go because I still want to use you. He never used me. Never used me.
And
that's the thing. Like, it just shows, like, in life. And I mean, it's such a weird thing for me because people always say to me, like, why did you retire so early?
Sheesh, they even use the word retire.
Yeah, I'm like, I think when I look back and I really ask myself the question, did I really want to be a professional footballer? I think I never tried that hard because I never really wanted to. I think I just had the talent.
You know what? I'll believe in what you're saying because I've seen so many people, even myself, in certain things that I wanted. Only in retrospect, when I look back, I'm like, I really wanted as bad as that guy who actually made it that far. And then I'm like, nah, I didn't. I just loved it and I was good at it. But if you said train 4 times in a day,
yes,
I'd be like, nah, once is enough. So I can understand where you're coming from.
What was that for you?
Football was one.
It was also football.
Yeah, right. Football was one. Athletics was another.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, the support of parents plays a major role in clarifying things for you.
Yeah.
Because I think Nabo, they can push you so far where there's a breaking point of, I actually want to do this or I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? So it plays a major role when parents do that. But let's just jump into the upbringing. So you said your dad, like a typical father's in our generation.
Yeah.
Tati plate like a gala. Maybe if you guys have that house in a study, or he's got a room of his where he watches TV.
Yes.
How was that relationship from Windwana to as far as you can remember around Cosmos days?
Well, firstly, let me say that it's actually not the norm for black kids to have that. I think most of our peers and most of the people who are black and come from impoverished backgrounds, they didn't have father figures at all to refer to. So I would,
even though they were in the house physically,
like some aren't even in the house.
That one is obviously the norm one.
Yeah, we have. I think that might even be the norm, because I'm just saying, between me and you, maybe we can establish that. I think the norm right now in our households as black people is the father is not even there. It's not even present.
I hear you.
Yeah. So our parents were actually the good few, like our fathers that were there, even though they weren't there the way we wanted them to be. They were actually showing up. Yeah, the few that were showing up. So yeah, that relationship was, like I said, you're talking about while I'm still young, yeah?
From young as far as you can remember. Yeah.
So like I said, always the present dad, didn't talk much. So, and I'm someone who connects via communication. And I always felt like it created distance how quiet my dad was. Very reserved guy. But nice. You know, when you need to speak to him, he'll talk to you. But you need to engage in that conversation, you know, most of the time. It's not like, you know, some fathers take the initiative to want to pour into their kids. He wasn't like that. He was just, I'm doing my part. You guys need right, you have clothes, blah, 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 you know. And he was just, so my mom, if I'm speaking to my mom and she establishes that I want something, she says, okay, this is not in my realm. You need to go speak to Wawak. Yeah. So you prepare a speech. Or maybe I want J's or something. I don't know. Yeah. So now I have to think, because I can't just go in there and say, hey, Pops, can I have this? Because he's always like, where the other ones I got you? Or why do you think you need that? Like, he was just that kind of dad. Like, in life, if you want something, you don't just show up and ask for it. Like, you must justify, state your case.
Why?
State your case, chief, you know? And that's where I got that characteristic that I have from. So when I went in there, I'd get in there, I'd say, listen, hey, it's a whole speech now. Listen,
you're
Pops.
Prepared.
Yeah, you know, look, the last time you bought me boots was this date. Here they are. Bag. I look underneath. I'm struggling to play with them when I'm here, and it would be nice, it'd be really nice if I could get new boots. And then we have that engagement. And then he's like, fine, we'll go on Saturday. Sharp, great.
So without that interaction, you are not going to get the boots.
No.
If you just went, Dad, I need new boots.
No.
Throws that out the water.
Yeah, if you just say you need new boots, you're not gonna get them. He's gonna ask you questions. You're gonna have to answer them.
And eventually, if you're not ready, it's a flop.
Yeah, it was a flop. Yeah, because
that's interesting. I like it actually.
Yeah, that's just how he was, and that's sort of. And it's funny because I never really ran with that, because in life you need that. If you want something, you ask for it. You want to raise, you raise it at work. You want,
but you must substantiate why.
Yes, you know what I mean. And that's the thing. I feel like people don't speak up, and there's always a gap for me with people who aren't very verbal, because I was trained to be verbal. Like, if you want something, talk. You know. And then there's other people in life. They think that you must figure it out. Like, oh, you should have known. We should have known. But I was raised in a household about kuluma. Otherwise, you were gonna go with the same socks as name Bobo the whole year.
Yeah. Not to compare, I'm just number. This guy. Hey, this guy. I'm like, it's name Bobo, man. Yo. I was going after someone. I don't know who. Like, hey, go suck at Bobo.
Nah, I won't expose you like that. I love you too much, boy.
No. You know, and I love that, because, you know, we have different upbringings from our fathers, and we don't realize sometimes their teachings, even though we don't get the presence that we so-called required at the time, but they played their role in the best way. And you are one of the few people who actually had a dad in the house, who has given you certain skills, be it literally or metaphorically or whichever way, you know, by observation, it's really carried you to a certain level. Now, when you're transitioning to be a young man, you're a teenager and all that kind of stuff, did you have like father-son conversation timer? You're probably having your first wet dream. What do you do? Who do you speak to? You know the teenage years. Man. Going into a space where now you are getting closer, you're wanting to be around girls, all that. How was that phase for you? And any relation to your parent? Or a male figure, actually?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he was a very reserved guy. And if Manga Mazi, you'll think he's very serious, you know? Even me, like people who don't know me think I'm a serious guy or I'm an arrogant guy. Like Mong Pegi, I look like
you give those vibes. First time I met you,
yeah,
it's like because of Kulum now.
Yeah,
it's like let's born. Get to know. Sandile's a chill character. Actually, a ring. Once you get into safe space,
he's the same. But now that safe space wasn't home for him. Like you would see him in that element usually when he's like out with his friend. Yes. Or when he comes back from golf and he's happy, he's ready to talk. But you wouldn't get a lot of opportunities to talk to him. I think he's such like my dad's an high intellect. So it's hard to engage in a conversation with him that will actually excite him if you're still a kid. So I think he wasn't really interested in like, you know, me and you can appreciate even kid moments, kid conversations.
Yeah.
Like they make us laugh, you know? We have that side of us because I think we were deprived of that when we were raised. But they for them it was like, no man, I'll speak to him when he can have the conversation.
Yeah.
So as I got older towards my teenage years and my 20s, we would catch moments where we would have these conversations. Okay, so maybe we're out somewhere and he's relaxed and we'd get to engage. And those were probably the most fulfilling conversations and moments that I've had with my dad, where I get to see him in his element, he's happy, there's family around, and we just happen to trigger something that we can all conversate over. Usually we'd be watching the news and he loves talking about politics. Or we'll be talk about sports because he was also a football player.
So it didn't fall far then?
Yeah, it didn't fall far. Yeah, a lot of our characteristics, all of us, are very similar.
It's in the genes, man.
Yeah, you know, very similar to... I think you're a product of your environment more than anything, you know? And that's why, as a father, I pay more attention to what my kid's reality is in terms of the environment I create, rather than... all the things that you really can't control. But what you can control is what your kid sees and has access to and what stimulates their brain, you know?
Yeah. True. Now, I asked you earlier, so when did your dad take you to go, since you guys, obviously disco was never a thing between the two of you. Even though probably he loved it, but for careers like, watch it. Yeah. So when did he say, let's go take your first club, let me go teach you golf? How did that happen?
He was working at Absa Vehicle Finance. And I think his role at the time, if I remember correctly, required him to play golf because they would host tournaments and he would have to play with clients. So he got into the game like that. And then he figured that it would be a nice way for him to bond with his family, because I don't think he had a lot of options in terms of how to bond with us, you see? So for him, it was like, okay, if I can find something common, which is golf, I can play it, they can play it. He introduced it to the family. So I think he started with my mom. My mom caught the bug.
So your mom also plays?
Yeah.
It's an entire family thing. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Got everyone in it. Only person who rejected it was my little brother. He was like, man.
So from your eldest sister, Naya Shai golf?
No.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with my eldest sister.
Yes, because you did.
And I love her so much. Like we got to meet her later in life, and she's such an interesting character. But when you've been apart for that long, it can be tough to navigate through that distance. And our age gap is also pretty significant. But I wish we spent more time together. So because she did, I think if she did maybe grow up in that household, she
should
might
be also have caught the bug. Yeah.
But my mom plays. I play. I was the first kid to catch it. Then my older brother caught it. Then my younger brother, they tried to bring him in. I know, guys. He would even leave halfway through the round. 9 holes at Dazin Sinclair, guys.
How old is he? Between you and him?
2 years. 2 years younger than me. I'm telling you, man.
And when were you introduced?
Characteristics are so different. Around 16, 17, somewhere there.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, so in any case, he introduces us. It becomes a family thing. And now, to this day, it's like the main thing that reconnects us. Yes. So, I think...
Nobody 18 hole as a family.
Yeah.
I've never heard this thing before. This is so beautiful.
I'm telling you, man.
No.
So, like, I feel like every family needs that thing. You need to find it, whatever it is, whether it's 30 seconds or something. But there has to be something
30 seconds is all up, boy. No, man. Couples, in where there's 30 seconds and the brain is...
works, dog.
Babe, 30 seconds doesn't work for families.
But I've seen some families, like, they love it. It works for them.
Land,
Until
then the fun goes away. But to what you were saying... Finding that thing, man. I love what you're saying. And so you guys still play.
Yeah, so to this day. And like, me and my family always had like the fairy tale life. And then later in life, we started to hit like rocks where things were happening. Spanbani, Agashat to Spanman. Then the drama started. And we were never used to that. Never had drama, And it created like rifts between us. And the only thing we had that we could use to try pull back together was golf. And it pulled us together. Crazy enough, So it's crazy. You can save relationships through whatever it is.
A common
love. Desire. Yeah.
So Uba and Osha in the family. Who's at the top ranking on your leaderboard?
Me.
Ne? Yeah. No, I believe it, boy. Yeah. I've seen this guy, chance. If you watch, the most impressive thing about your golf, you hit it far sharp, but sometimes you hit it fine, it sprays. There is no one I've met till today who has recovery shots like you. I've never met anyone. This guy, you see when you see Tiger's recovery shots, he hits it all the way to the green, and it's like there's no way this guy's going through these bushes. But it makes sense, But I'm sure then your father, it doesn't necessarily mean he was good. He just knows the game.
You should have seen me today, hey?
Yeah.
Some of my recovery shots. Hey, they were spectacular. Spectacular. Even my playing partner was like, yes, I know.
No, dude,
your recovery shots today are unbelievable.
It's you've done amazing things with your recovery.
Yeah, no, my dad was really good. He was a 7 handicap at some point. I think a 5 even. But for most of his life, he was more like between 7 and 9, which was pretty good because he started the game late. He
was obviously late 30s or 40s.
Yeah, 40s. Yeah, late 30s.
That's it. It's quite good if you started that late.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's very obsessive in nature. Like if he starts something, he wants to excel in it. Yeah. So I would see him at night. I'm a YouTube video. And that's why I say
it also brought you guys together.
Yeah, that's why I say to you, like, sometimes people's characteristic doesn't allow them to express love to you the way you would want to receive it. But for him, golf was one way he could show love. So he'd be very interested in like, oh no, do this. No, this is what's making you hit the ground. And well, he'd try to, you can tell, like he's more obsessed about this thing than I am. Why is he? You know what I mean? And that's how, and for him, it's like, this is my way of showing you love.
Yeah.
That I
and
care.
Can bond and spend time through this.
But for me, it was like, it would have been nicer if it was actually on the field where I was actually getting paid and where I actually had a dream to maybe play somewhere, nice and big. You know what I mean? But he showed
boy, you wouldn't be here in Europe, man.
I would be in Europe, man.
You wouldn't be here.
Now everything happens for a reason.
Literally.
You know what I mean? Like I said, that's why I don't resent him for it. I think he's lucky. that I never really wanted to play it, because if I did, I may have
resentment.
Yes, resented the fact that he never really supported me in it.
Now tell me, you wanted to get married, right?
I still do.
Yeah, but there was a point where you were very close.
Yes.
In you don't get married. You were close, ne?
Yes.
What was there a conversation you had with your dad around it, or any male figures to say, "Vana, I'm so cool. Here's how you must start treating this situation going forward"?
No. So what happened was I decided on my own accord that I was ready. I proposed, big proposal. He was even trending apparently.
When boy, I'm gonna Google you, son. That's what he's trying to say. Google me, son.
No, I think there was a celebrity that was there.
Were you part of the Esval Stadium?
Nah, not even. You must have money to waste for that. No, so it was just at Jameli. I invited people that I loved, that were close to me, family.
Jameli around the corner?
Yeah, it was just at Jameli.
How long ago was this, dog?
How old was I? That's probably 6-7 years ago. 8.
Or maybe Jameli Besavula, ne? Around then. I don't even know how old is Jameli.
It was probably around, yeah. But it was before this. I was there recently. Yeah. It looks very different.
Yeah. It wasn't they've
renovated. Any case, what we did was we parked our cars in a line there at that parking area, right in front of that upper area where everybody drinks. We switched on the lights, and then me and my boys did a dance routine to that song. How does that song go?
Is it similar to the movie?
Yes.
Boys, what?
Yes.
What? Yeah. With those 4 guys.
You stand by me. So I tried the whole routine. So I tried the whole routine. Me and my boys. Shout out to my boys over there.
Hey, talk about Le Romano. You're romantic, son.
I can be, It doesn't happen often, but when I am, I do it right. I did the whole thing. I proposed. So I think the girlfriend of Uzungu at the time, Bongani Zungu, the Sundowns player, I think.
Yeah.
And she was
dropping.
There. And I think she's the one who took a video. Yeah, and then I think that's how it sort of was
it went on.
Yeah. I didn't see it myself. This was my ex-fiance telling me,
you're trending.
She's into that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not really a social media guy.
You're just a romantic.
Yeah, I'm the perfect combo. Woman just want a romantic guy that stays
Google this thing. Google my boy.
Media.
Post it on the comment if you get the link. I want to see this thing. And you beggar boy. But you just did this on your own.
So I did it on my own, right? And then obviously they're gonna find out eventually. So they do. And then he's very happy. He congratulates me. He's like, "Hey man, good move. Nice to see you." And I think that's what brings him joy. It was on my own accord. It wasn't him trying to push me to do something. You know what I mean? I just did it myself.
Nice.
So he was happy. My mom was over the moon because she was in love with my ex-fiance. You know? So in any case, we have a chat. He says to me, the one thing I remember him saying to me, which stood out, was, when you take the step, be wary, because this is when the devil usually targets you.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to see a union like that. That's God's union. That's a spiritual union. It's a sanctified union.
Yeah.
And he's like, between now and when you get married, be very wary. So
this transition to actually getting to the matrimony is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Because now everybody saw you do
Yeah. And I think what he was trying to tell me was, you've separated yourself from the pack, and women gravitate towards that. So there are women who are going to look at that and think, no, I'd rather be there. And he's like, don't allow that to distract you from what you're building.
Yeah. No, and shout out to that advice. When you're saying it now, I think a lot of times you only hear it in retro, Guti. You need to, once you go down a route like that, a lot of challenges start popping in. And if you're not head steady, you're gonna fall and go with the wind. Because sometimes you take a decision, but not realizing the consequences of the action you must follow with. You still want to be Sandy, they also pagaya, gupi the whole day in. But so by the time you married, you haven't started transitioning or working towards the transition of I need to start conducting myself differently. And Maushata, you're still the same.
Yeah.
The behavior just continues all the way till your demise.
Yeah.
In a way. So yeah, man, that sounded like solid advice, which I'd love if maybe then your dad would double click on that and break it down, because that's what we men don't do. Like, don't just say it high level. Because he's lived through it.
Exactly.
You know? But yeah, you survived. So you did you have your child with your ex? How was that being a dad?
All right. So the way this happened was, me and my ex, we get engaged. During this engagement, we decide that, let me say I decide that. Let me take her out of it. I decide that this is actually not the right decision for me. Okay? She says, no, that's fine. I accept that. Do what you need to do. Okay, cool. I go to my parents. I tell them, listen, I've embarrassed the family. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, but we can't proceed. This is not going to ultimately work out for me. I'm going to become one of those depressed husbands, blah, blah, blah. Like, can we please do a U-turn? Fine. My dad says fine. If you're gonna say that, what can I do? My mom is like, no. Siapambi. So now there's this
back and forth.
Yeah, this is where the first rock hits the family. Oh,
it's what you were saying earlier.
Yes, this is what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, I'm with you now.
So in any case, what makes it even worse, so like when it rains, it pours. When God puts you through things, He puts you through them for real. My fiance shows up and says, listen, I'm actually pregnant.
Yo, and you've dropped the news.
Yes, exactly. Broken up at this point.
Aye.
Yeah, well?
And you didn't know, obviously.
Good tricky now. This is a very tricky situation. This is literally like watching a soapy now.
Well, it's starting on my headlines.
This is like watching a soapy now. I'm like, yo, this is like those TV shows I used to watch, Generations, literally, So now I'm
Generations.
Yo, Generations.
Alec, please, bro. You owe us a drink, bro. We put you on, bro. Yeah.
So in any case, I got a tough decision to make. Do I stay with her, despite the fact that I don't want to be with her for the sake of raising my kid in a unified household? Now these are the chats now that are happening between me and predominantly my mom. Okay, my dad, he thinks I command. So for him, it's like, look, dude, the decision that you make is the decision you make, but you must make it work. The responsibility to your kid remains.
Yeah, you can't run away.
So from my mom's perspective, it's like, dude, I'm telling you, you're going to regret this. There's going to be lots of consequences to having a child not in your house with the mother, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, I'm like, cool, ma, I hear all of that. And I'm trying to tell you, I'm not the first kid I won't be the first person to have a co-parenting situation.
Yeah.
It can work. My mom's like, what is that?
Yeah.
You in co-parenting. And like our parents from their generations, like, what's co-parenting?
There's none of
that. Yeah, it doesn't exist,
The only other thing is ubalegi lubaba.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Ubalegi lorukon. Not nkone marang food.
Yes, and I think traditionally, in if you do things a traditional way, the kid usually must go to one household, then the other family breaks away by tradition. Like if minang she comes to my family, and then that's it. Like that woman,
she belongs to us.
Back in the day, So in modern day society, now we don't hold that tradition. Now it's co-parenting, and she's like, "What is that?" So me and her are clashing now. We're going back and forth. She's like, "No. This is how children usually grow up, and they have issues and they need therapy." I'm like, listen, hey, whether you're in the same household or to your parents are not in the same household, you can still need therapy. There are good and bad examples of both scenarios. There's no way you can say. A lot of parents like to hold on to that. I don't know what they're holding on to exactly. Maybe it makes them feel better, but they justify it by saying it's for my child. Your child can still be under trauma watching you, both the mom and the dad, in the same household,
pretending for 30 years.
Yes, or feeling this thing, and now they don't even want to get married, and then they've got problems dating, and those are things you can't control. So in any case, me and my mom go back and forth. We clash. It becomes a big serious thing for the family for a while. I used to stay close to them. I move. Even I go far, go to Randburg. Now me and my mom aren't talking, and now I've got to raise this child. And at that time, remember, this is such an emotional time, even for the mother of my child, because she's going through a breakup and she's pregnant. Like, it's a lot.
Sheesh,
bro. And the worst part is this breakup is a public breakup because the proposal was public.
But why is the breakup public?
Because she's a public person.
The lady's a public figure.
Yeah. Okay. No, not that she's a public figure, but she's a sharer. Like,
she shares, social media.
Yes. When you share things on social media, everyone's now a part of your relationship.
Got you.
Yeah. So now by one without, now I'm supposed to obvious. You don't need to announce. We know good.
As social media, all they have to do is. It's been like 10, 15 posts, not even one mention of him.
And then they go to his page, they see, no, she's no longer on his page. Ziakala. And I think she felt, and I apologize for that, and I don't think I can apologize enough, but I think she felt very embarrassed regarding that, Women take things very differently to men. Like, for me, it's like, dude, like, if we're not meant to be together, not meant to be together, like, you know what I mean? But for her, it's like, dude, like, the whole world knows, So anyways.
But how was but sorry, continue.
So, going through this transition, now it's hard because we're trying to establish a new relationship, me and her. While we're trying to establish this new relationship, she's still got... She loves me, she hates me, she resents me, she wants to fight me, she wants to love me. It's a lot. And we're raising a kid. She has a kid.
But how was you guys' relationship?
It was like, the pregnancy? That's what I'm saying.
It was just
that. So 2 seconds,
You're juggling everything.
It's right. Everything's great. I can be there, supportive. But the problem is, when I'm supportive, it's like, wait, does it mean he wants to be here? Does it mean he loves me? Does it mean, now I have to... Like, it becomes so complicated. It's like, how much do I show up and how much do I hold back to create a boundary to say, I'm here, but I'm here for the child.
This is during pregnancy.
Yes, it's during pregnancy.
Yeah.
When I'm listening to the belly, does she, as a woman, absorb that as he's simply
affection,
being a father
or caring for the baby?
Affection for both of us. And it's hard, I think, for women to separate the two.
Yeah.
So we had that that challenge, So there were periods where she would be very welcoming to me, to be there as a father, to be supportive. And then there were other periods where she'd be very resistant. Like, no, don't be here. You chose to leave anyways, blah, blah, blah. Which for me, I knew, women go through, emotional cycles. So you have to be patient as a guy, You have to be patient and let them go through the cycles and know how to respond to help her go through them without it creating too much of a rift between the two of you.
Or more tension.
So there was a lot I didn't know. But fortunately, my mom, because they were best friends and she had obviously pushed me away, she was now trying her best to fill my role in my baby mama's journey. She was always trying to be there. Yes, do this, do that, do that. So there's actually a lot I believe I would have missed out on, because of that. I missed out on a lot because of the fact that we were not together.
Obviously,
you know what I mean? But for the most part, I think we enjoyed it. I went to every single scan. We had good laughs. We were both excited, and it was a smooth pregnancy for me. She didn't gain a lot of weight. Like, she didn't have breakouts. She didn't have too many, like, erratic emotional...
it was pretty chilled.
I felt like it was
Hey,
pretty
but
chill.
you don't know what she was going through, but yeah.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, she didn't complain too much to me about things related to pregnancy, like sore feet or hey, I can't sleep or whatever. Nah, she didn't. But there were times where she'd maybe call me and say, look, baby's keeping me up. If we up, you must stay up.
Over the phone.
Oh, yeah. yeah. So we stay up, you know. We talk until she falls asleep, and then man.
No. You started this dating thing quite a while.
Yeah.
Now your daughter arrives. Beautiful daughter, by the way. Oh man, I love how you know you the little you share of you and her on social media. But I'm like, sheesh, man, you know, quite admirable. How was that then? Your daughter landed. How was that for you? And how did you get? Did you get any wisdom or guidance with Sandile? Jengoba ubaba. This is how you must now conduct yourself.
Zero.
Yeah.
So, and I think maybe that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses for Black culture. We don't know how to pass down wisdom in the appropriate way. We lost that. We used to do it around a fire, sit, and grandparents and nephews and nieces would specifically take that time
from
out
storytelling.
to carve you know. Now it's like no. So kuluma when something goes wrong. So for now, have fun.
Figure it out. Let's have fun.
Have fun. And so my daughter arrives, comes out, albino looking kid. Yes, my daughter was yellow. But I'm blue,
yeah.
Like I looked down, I was like, hey, Wala, I'm trying to Stina. What's going on? Yeah. Like is that my kid? Oh, yellow, bruh. Yellow. She comes out and she's not even crying. Not even crying. She just comes out. Her face, she looks like she's about to cry, but she's not crying. There's no sound. And I think it took a while. And then when they cut the cord, she cried, but not a lot. I mean, very quiet. They cleaned her, held her in my hand. Beautiful, squished up face. You know when they come out.
Yeah. I'm boxing ring. I'm a tumpa komaling.
Looking like an alien. You never say she's as beautiful as she is today. You know, I always wonder when people are like, oh, my baby was born, she's so beautiful. I'm like, what?
Dude,
when babies are born, they're not beautiful.
I was worrying and me and my wife laughed. Like, yo, even my mother-in-law was like, guys, what's going on? I'm like, guys, calm down. Now, cutest thing you can ever say.
Give it time.
Yeah.
Facial features must develop. I think a lot of people are very sentimental and they want to create fairy tales. So they talk that way, you know? Even when people talk like, oh, watching my child get born, I've seen people say that to them, it changed them. To me, it was just like an event. Like I was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
But I never
so
really...
So you're present in the room for the delivery.
Yeah, you know?
Nice.
It never really... For the whole process, in fact, my kid wasn't supposed to come out that early. But she was in a hurry. Yeah. She was in a hurry. She's like, hey, listen, I want to meet my dad. Like, can we make a plan?
Vulan.
Can we make a plan? So they made a plan, you know?
Yeah.
So she comes out. They do the footprint thing. I've got that tattooed on my arm.
Nice.
And yeah, we were... what can I say? Happy, joyful.
Melted you, eh?
Not even. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really feel those emotions that people describe. Like, oh, so like, I was just happy to be there
to
as
witness
a father and to for people around me to know that they can rely on me. I feel like that's sort of where a man finds most of his joy is knowing that people can rely on him. The people that love him can rely on him. And I think for me, that's what I wanted. I wanted my baby mama to feel like she's not alone. She's there with someone who will go through fire.
And on top of it, and is one. Exactly. As in, you're not together. Yes. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we leave the hospital. We've got this beautiful baby girl and we're figuring it out. And she's very close with her family. they say that you create your upbringing. She didn't have a present father. So she was very close with the women in her family. And they would share a lot of wisdom with her regarding what needs to be done, what this. So she had like lots of support. She's educated me throughout this process. And even to this day, she's like a master of... She knows more about raising a kid than her own degree, her own work, job, career, profession.
Yeah.
Like, that's like how mothers can be so obsessed with their offspring. Like, it becomes their job. And that's why I wish every father was rich enough to tell a woman, you can go stay at home and raise our kids if you want.
Yeah.
I wish we could do that.
We all had that power, the provision.
Yeah.
I agree to that, actually.
So
they have the choice, rather. You can stay if you want.
Yes.
As long as you want.
Yes. Yeah. Just give them that choice. So I think if she had it, she'd take it, you know. So in any case, she's educating us. We're going step by step. But for me, crazy enough, not to toot my own horn, and you can ask my family members, I didn't need to read a book. I didn't need to hear anyone tell me what to do. I always knew what to do with my kid. Always. Like,
break that down. What does that mean?
Like, if she couldn't sleep at night, I always knew how to figure out what's wrong with her. If she's got a blocked nose, how to suck it out.
Yeah.
I would, even if melting his hands, I take my mouth to and suck it.
Because these things don't work,
Yeah, they don't always work.
I don't know what the way.
You know? So one time I put warm water in there, and then I squished it in, and then I sucked, and it actually works. You can try it.
And block the nose.
Yeah. Sometimes warm water sort of loosens it up. But just in general, like if my kid was with me, she never cried much. If she cried, it was usually it's like, no, I want my mother now. You know, she never cried like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, oh, I need to change a nappy or something. No.
So you did all of that.
I was always a natural with that.
Are you saying you're a natural, active man, dad?
Yeah, it's always a natural. No one.
You've never seen, maybe, well, obviously having female siblings, how they were interacting with their kids?
Nah.
Hold on, Sandile. What voodoo stuff are you using?
I was always a natural, bro. The only thing I get wrong is sometimes I'll take some of my child's clothing and instead of the dress looking this way, I put it the other way.
The buttons at the back.
And then, what's that? Then she always tell me, like, no, Dad, it's supposed to look the other way. Yeah.
Jigisa dog.
Dude,
that is fascinating.
Are you natural?
From medicine? Because obviously the nappy thing, you can kind of learn quicker. But, pelumtana magagula, dude. There's like so much. I'm also learning, and I figured out, a lot of us, we're not prepared. Even my previous guest, Smash, mentioned, we don't prepare, dog. Like,
true.
We want to wing it.
True.
Specifically it's like another human.
True.
And that is so unfair on your partner,
true,
on the child.
True.
And it just lands us in the space of ignorance.
Yeah.
And all I had to do is, one, you can ask anyone, two, research.
Yes.
And then just be upfront with, yo, babe, how do we handle it? Then at least it shows you've done a lot of homework.
Yes.
To see how you can, handle yourself.
Yeah. And maybe that shows light to how much the people around me were doing. Because clearly, if I didn't experience the challenges, it's probably because most of the people around me were taking care of them, Like, the medicine part, usually what medicine she needed at what time, usually someone in the house knew. Like, this is what she's currently dealing with. If they didn't know, like, I was that type of dad. Like, I knew, like, oh, okay, no, this is what's happening with her. Okay, it's fine. Take out my phone, check, batini. Okay, Google itiganje, go to Discam, ask the smart lady there.
Of course.
Yeah, like, people forget that you've got basically a free doctor right there in your Clicks or your Discam. You go there and you tell that person there. You don't just go there and say, I want this medicine. You can tell them.
Tell the condition.
Yeah, this is what's happening with my kid. What do you think is happening? She'll tell you, like, it's probably this. This is the best thing I can recommend.
Did I just put you on Discam?
And then that's basically how you learn. You start to learn as a dad. Oh, this is the medicine. But a lot of that, fortunate for me, her mother was always prepared. Always prepared because, like I said, the grandmother always had like foresight, and her mother and my mother was a nurse as well, and they always had like, hey, listen, this is gonna happen.
You were shielded.
I was shielded.
So is many of us actually.
Yeah,
you know?
Men are shielded to a large degree, assuming that you've got a mother that's present.
Yeah. Oh no, but dude, I find it interesting because I was scared in a way, ill prepared, in certain instances. But now, how's
what makes you feel like you were ill prepared?
Because like I was saying, you didn't plan ahead. You just wanted to wing it, and subconsciously you kind of like leaving the weight to be carried by someone else. But you must remember, we still raised from that preconception of ngwana kwamme, umntana waka mama. So you thinking, yeah, no, I'll be told what to do. Yeah, as much as you'll be told, but you need to kind of know, e.g. if your woman gets sick.
Yeah.
And she's like bedridden, she can't do anything.
Yes.
And she can't relay the message of what must happen. Who must do these things?
Yes, you must.
You know what I mean? So if you don't know, you're doing a disservice for many people. Yeah. So I was saying it from them. Exactly. And how's the relationship now with your daughter? How old is she now?
She's 4.
Yeah. Quite grown. And how's that been, raising her and co-parenting?
So the beginning was a bit rough. Dealing with, like I said, the breakup. My baby mama will speak for herself, but it takes a while for her to get over that, But eventually we do, Eventually the kid starts to come first. But let me also mention something that I think is a big topic around the world, and also in this country. And I only know that because of my current fiance.
Oh, congrats!
Yeah, thank you.
Which one did you do this one? Signature? Where did you do this one?
I can't.
I didn't see that video.
I can't deal with you.
Who's posting? You guys are sleeping on us, man.
I can't deal with you, Dad.
Alright, anyway, it's fine. Clearly we didn't get this one.
Yeah. I was more myself. Let me put it that way. Yeah. I think the Gemini thing I did it more for my ex-fiance. Because she would love that type of person.
Oh, you did it more knowing which this would trigger her in the right way.
Yes, she would appreciate. Because I think a proposal's for the woman, really. Like a guy,
it is.
A guy's happy
you could
to
do it in
just,
the bedroom.
show up at ring. You know what I mean? Like
but for initiative, what would she possibly love?
You know what I mean?
No.
It's a form of also.
If you disagree, guys,
respect.
shout out. Ladies, please comment.
Yeah, because there's even some Zulu men who will refuse to do these like fancy things. Because for them it's like goes against their manhood.
And it's not about you.
It's not about you.
That's that's where now I agree. You have to remove yourself into what would make this person happy. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So me and my current fiance, we're more aligned in terms of like how we are naturally as people. We're not big on showing the world our lives and stuff like that. So that one I could do something that was more private. So I just did something private, ekaya, nice romance, candles, balcony, music, got a chef to come cook for us. And it was beautiful,
Yeah.
Surprised her really nice. She thought she was getting something else. Because she's got this obsession with this chocolate. She thought I was giving her that chocolate.
Chocolate. Straight from Switzerland.
Hey, buddy. So, anyways, I had it underneath the chocolate, like this. And then
wait. This is the chocolate.
This is the chocolate.
Okay, and then
so I got the ring underneath. Yeah. So I acted like I was giving her the chocolate. I said, "Here for you," and she was like, "Hey, thank you, baby."
Which was that chocolate life?
Yeah. And she was like, "Pew, bonny ring." I think was like a lot, man. Took her a while to like. Because at first I think she was like, whoa. And then her reaction was, and then she only slowly started to smile. So I think it took her a while to grasp what was happening. And then, I proposed. And I had a little short speech, nothing hectic.
Your family and hers?
No. Just me and her.
Family.
Just me and her.
Oh, the two of you.
The proposal.
Only. Yeah,
just me and her. Very
nice.
private. Yeah. Me, her, and the chef. Oh. So the chef finished cooking, brought us the food. I think after the desserts, that's when we did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, now I'm engaged. Can't really share the news because remember, I'm still dealing with everybody who still wants me to be with my ex-fiance. I told you I'm living in a soapy here.
Guys, ameliorations every Saturday for 7.
So now I can't. So I got this thing now. Now I can't share it
until
basically now at this point I'm just living.
But I'm sure by the time this episode airs, you'll be long gone into your marriage.
Yeah. You know. So in any case, we get engaged and that's where we are now.
Beautiful. And but you're saying you're still co-parenting, but how's your relationship with your daughter, and what do you intend to pour into her as an active father?
Yeah.
And what is an active father anyway?
So my relationship with her is like we're very close. I think I am to her what a daughter wants to see in a father, I guess. She, what can I say? I think as parents, when you raise someone, you're basically raising yourself. Like it's raising yourself again, right? But you get to do it, you know. And I think that's what shapes the type of parent you become. How were you raised? What were you deprived of? What were you fed? Those things and those values and the pain and the love that came with that shapes what you think is important. Mm-hmm. And for me, like I said, I had a father who was there, loving, provider, but not really present and not much of a pourer. And for me, it's like, okay, if I can get right the most important part, which is the financial stability and an environment that's safe, that's conducive to growth and education, then I can take it a step further than my father did. And I can actually be a pourer. I can shape my child's characteristics, shape her opportunities, shape her future. So for me, I pay more attention to my kid than I think my parents paid to me. In the sense that I analyze her every day. I analyze her skills, what she's good at, what she's not, what makes her tick, what makes her angry, should it not. Right now, me and her mother, we're dealing with, or rather let me say all of us, because it's me, her mother, and her
the
bonus
grandparents,
mom. So right now, Ulilita has this thing where she's a highly competitive kid.
I wonder if she gets that from.
Highly competitive kid, but a sore loser, right? Yeah. So when she doesn't win...
I wonder where she gets that from.
Nah, I'm a graceful loser, Joe. When I'm a loser, dude, have you seen me when I have a bad round at golf? You never see me throwing toys around.
Don't mention names. I
don't talk. I don't like explain myself. I've got many golfing friends. Ish, yabona that shot. It's like it's done. Bro.
Yeah, move
on, bro. You know, and you can tell that in his head, everyone's judging him. Like no one cares, bro. We're all here trying to survive our own golf of round, our own round of golf. You know. Yeah. So I'm definitely I take it with grace, and then that's the thing we're working on now. I'm trying to get my daughter to a place where when she loses, she sees that as a challenge, as an opportunity, as opposed to her crying about it. You know. So we have conversations. I like to put it in competitive scenarios to test the character, to build it. We talk. So me and her have that kind of relationship. Her mother looks at that and is like, I know you're too hard on her. I know you're like a general, and I know you're soldier, and it's like, I get why she would say that, because from the way she was raised, that's not something that she feels like is important to give to her kid. She feels like what's important to give to her kid is a luxury life and sort of all the princess things, and not to say anything negative or wrong, but for me, what I see a lot is that women who were raised without fathers often have a strong attachment to a lifestyle desire. Like they feel the need to live and attain a very nice, safe, security lifestyle. And that's why you see a lot of them dating like blessers and stuff like that, because and then people are like, no, those are daddy issues because she's trying to replace him as the dad. But for me, it's not that. I think she's trying to fulfill the security that she was supposed to have felt from him. She needs to attain it somehow, you know? And for her, it's like, okay, if I have to get it through a man, then fine, I'll get it through a man. But if she could get it by herself, that would be enough. You know?
I hear you.
So for me right now, that's sort of my relationship with my daughter. I put her through so many things, like so many activities, you know, all these things that you can do with your kids on the weekend just to watch them, especially when you watch your kid interacting with other kids. Also very important, you know. I recently only now pushed her over the line where she's not afraid to make friends. She used to be afraid. I used to be like, hey, look, that girl or that boy wants to play with you. Go. And she would be scared, like, no, Papa. Then she'd play on her own or whatever. But the whole time.
Like, calm, dude.
You know? And now I've managed to finally get her over the line because after a few introductions, I did it with her. I'd go and say, hey, who are you? Now she's like, oh, now when I'm like, hey, don't you want to call them? She'll run there herself, like, hey, hi, you guys want to come play with us? And for me, like, it's that character building that fulfills me because I'm building someone who can eventually choose who she wants to be. I think that's the most important thing about a parent. You can't make your kid anyone. That's the delusion that we have. But what you can do is give your kids enough tools to be able to choose who they want to be.
Correct. Love it. Most challenging thing about being a dad?
I think it's the expectations. You know, I think from people, from just even maybe yourself. Even most of the things you expect or you think people expect from you, you actually have created for yourself. Like you think people expect those, but most of the things they've never actually said. But there's an unspoken expectation of men in society. And I think it drives a lot of us to depression, suicide. I think it's even a main cause for why a lot of men run away from being dads because they feel like they can't match that expectation. They can't live up to that expectation. So they run. He wants to be a dad, but he's scared he's going to fail, so he runs. And, you know, the women out, a lot of women, not all of them, but they're so brutal about a man falling short that it can tear him down to the point that he leaves his own seed. You know, she's so brutal about, you're not a man, man. You can't, you know what I mean? And then to some point he starts to believe like that's what he amounts to. But being a father is so much more than being a financial provider.
Straight up.
And there's also a reality that must also sink in to people to say that what generation are we in? Are we in the generation of booming jobs? Are we in the generation of booming entrepreneurs? What generation are we in? We're in a generation of high unemployment. We're in a generation where women now actually earn a lot of times more than men. We're in a generation where there is massive confusion regarding what career a person can do to be able to support their family. We're in a generation of high inflation. What your parents could afford, 3-bedroom room, house. Now you need to be a manager or senior manager to afford that. It's a very different time. But the expectations aren't changing. They're remaining the same.
Yeah.
And it's creating a pressure that men can't deal with because now they feel like they're inadequate.
But times have changed.
And a lot of them can't digest that and fight back in their households and say, listen, there's more to what I bring to this household than just money. And just a man's presence in itself, for me, is more valuable than money. I think your child doesn't know she's sleeping in a room with 5 of her cousins and that means you guys are poor. Your child just is experiencing like whatever she's experiencing. Hi, this one's making a noise. Hey. If anything, a lot of them even remember those memories as good memories.
Yeah. Well, most of us grew up like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to the kid, to the father and his ego and the mother and her ego, it's like, no, we should be doing better. We should give our kids this. We should do, you know what I mean? It creates unnecessary pressure. I think for me, my biggest challenge is being able to fight off that pressure and stay present in what I actually am here to give my child and my future children. I have to be able to say, how do I fight this narrative that I am made and I am measured by how much money I bring to the table? How can I measure myself holistically as a father to say that even if I did lose my job tomorrow and I couldn't provide, how do I still show
attributes?
Up? Yes, and make sure that my kid doesn't feel the pain that I feel or the loss that I feel. She must feel like nothing happened. There are kids who don't even know that, my dad was unemployed for 5 years. They don't know that because the dad did everything in his power to make her or him think that everything was fine. But others, they're angry. They hit their wives. They come home. They go to the room. He sleeps. He doesn't want to go anywhere. Hey, let's go to the park with the kids. Because he doesn't want to be out there. But he has yeah. Those things for me. That's the toughest challenge.
Yeah. Me. And none of this guy had a mouthful on that question. Hey bro, you know what? And it takes nothing away from what you're saying. Very valid stuff. What's the most exciting thing about being a dad? Brace yourself.
This one's gonna be short. Most exciting thing about being a dad is for me fulfilling God's purpose. I think there is some divine mission in raising a child and raising them the right way. I think it's one of the biggest blessings and responsibilities God can bestow upon a person. And for me, when I pour into my child and it pours into me, and I think it also pours into heaven and trickles on my ancestors. Right? So there's a whole ecosystem that thrives off me making sure that my offspring are well looked after and my household is solid. And that for me, the most exciting part about that is to see what God will do with that. I don't know what he will do with it, but it's exciting for me to watch and witness what he'll do with me, what he'll do with the people around me, for us trying our best to honor him and honor the blessing that he's given us.
Nice, beautiful. So to all the young men out there that are going to be dads or who are dads with the little experience you have, what pearls and nuggets you can share with the gents out there, you know?
Yeah. No, I think it's a nice thing because I've heard it a few times. So I think it's a trend. I think it's becoming a trend. It's maybe someone must hashtag it. Maybe you can. It's just be there. Be there. You know? Yeah, it's the most simplest way to sum up what is important to being a dad. And I would say a parent, but I think, I don't know how to explain it, but there's something about the presence of a father that is different to the presence of a mother. I don't know how to explain it. Nah? Maybe one day I'll get the wisdom too. But for me, they both matter.
They equally matter.
Yeah, but there's a certain stability that comes from having a father. And I think even when you watch how colonizers try to break societies, they always try to target the guy, the man.
Work far away.
If you can break the man, move the man, send him to jail, lock him up, get him on drugs, get him to be aggressive. If you can distract the head, everything else will fall apart. And hence I'm saying, like, if you are there, just being there will keep the thieves away. Like, you can be a father in the house.
You're saying this metaphorically and literally.
Yes, and literally.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
You can be in the house, you are useless. But the fact that or think twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it creates a certain emotional stability in the house. Hopefully, you're not a toxic dad.
I was about to say,
you don't want to be a toxic dad, an abusive one, or whatever. But if you're just like a dad that's there, loving, and you're doing what you should do, and you're protecting the people that you love, I think that's all that matters. You know, the rest you'll figure it out because we all got different circumstances You know, so there's no one sticker fits all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I did say it was the Bo Brady Nizbonele and Nizwile. It doesn't get any more romantic than this. That is what I say.
Oh, dramatic.
Hey! Wait for episode 2. Sandile Tati, we out.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers,
please.
guys.
Cheers.